Hey now, it's your boy JG. And it is another basketball, SEC basketball season is underway. And we are back for our second consecutive day with a brain drain. Indeed. We had a long one yesterday after during and after Auburn's loss to the Houston Cougars in the Birmingham Bowl. And we went pretty long after the game was over, I think I'd fair to say. Me and J-Dub went deep into our Brownwater Reserve with the encouragement from many of you. Where's that laugh soundtrack when I need it? And then, of course, we've got the season opener, the SEC season opener for basketball tonight. So that's huge. 1-2. The news is much better today. The Auburn Tigers, of course, were victorious over the hated LSU Tigers, coached by perhaps the most evil villain in all of college basketball, in my opinion. Back to our cozy basketball home right here, where you can see there that the Auburn Tigers are victorious 70-55 over the LSU Tigers. The Bayou Bengals, as some would say. We've got the box score there on the right. I've got the schedule on the left that I hope I have not made any weird errors on that bad boy, but that is certainly a possibility. Let's see if this chat will populate the way that it should. I don't see any stuff there yet. Oh, there it goes. Popping up. All right, this is good news. All right, first things first. We had some super chats coming through early, and we appreciate you guys and love you guys for sure. Sam H. jumps in. First basketball super chat of the year. He says, we doing this? War Eagle hated how the refs slowed the game down, but clutch Jabari and consistent Kessler down the stretch. War Damn Eagle. Hell yes, man. Both of those guys I thought played their booties off tonight. Not sure on the refs. Some weird calls, but other ones I thought weren't bad. The bunker tends to think that every call that goes against Auburn is an absolute atrocity, and I'm not sure that is true because I've seen some bad ones, and I don't think so the stuff tonight was particularly bad. Pocket Watch also jumps in. Sam's always with us too, but Pocket Watch is with us as well all the time. War Damn Eagle. Obviously, Pocket Watch very fired up to see the Auburn Tigers crush LSU that way. Everybody hates LSU, of course. Scotty B says JGT and J-Dub were on fire at the 6.5 hour mark last night. Drunk draining is the best draining. I'm not sure that's true. It might be from your perspective, Scotty V, but not from mine. And I do have a, let's see, we'll do a laugh with that one, yeah. Where's the laugh? There we go. Had to reset my computer earlier today, and I guess it's just getting started going again. You Taxman is fired up to see us. Says, oh, hell yeah. I'm glad that you're enthusiastic about that. Easterwood, one of our top posters from the greater Madison area, says Will Wade looks like Grimace from McDonald's. Wow, you're going old school with that one. He hadn't been around in a while, and he even does kind of look purple the way Will Wade does. I don't know if Grimace cusses the way Will Wade does. Cleveland Brown, another one of our absolute all-star studs. I mean, this is an all-star lineup, obviously. Says, hell yeah, another drain. Let's go. Shout out to administrative assistant for the authorization. Hey now. Yes. I don't know how fired up she was about having another show tonight, but I told her that I would not drink. I'd be a good boy, and everything's fine. Also, Super Chat's still rolling in here. My goodness, you guys have been incredibly supportive tonight. Look at all these chats, man. This is crazy. You guys are unbelievable. CDF coming in from the greater Houston area. Says AU got in that Jay Jizzle. Oh, got one of those. That's the sound we make as Will Wade retreats off the court in another loss. Sad, sad, sad. Also, a Mobile alum who I shouted out earlier for just being huge yesterday on the football show jumps in here and says, hey, JG, thanks so much for doing this. We needed it. You are the GOAT. Go. Love you. Appreciate you, young lady. AU88 jumps in with the super chat. No message offered, no message needed. Appreciate that support, yo-yo. Stu Pup keeps the streak alive as always. Don't feel pressure to do that, though, man, because you're an absolute GOAT no matter what happens. But Stu Pup was fired up for that one. Says, much more fun to drain after a victory. Oh, hell yeah. Canoe Man, I was waiting when somebody would drop this one. He says, strong ass win. Because LSU, of course, Will Wade is famously or infamously on a federal wiretap talking about coordinating a strong ass offer. AU Storm 20 says NBA Jam. He sees what I see. Yeah, I've got one. My wife got it for me for Christmas last year, actually, and it was over here in the corner all this time. And with the help of the administrative assistant, we rearranged the office area, and now we've changed the background just a little bit. Cleveland Brown says a drunk JG is a fun JG. Yeah, some people would agree with it. I'm not sure my wife would. Let's bounce over here to the basic screen for box scores. I actually have already posted my CDF is saying play neck. I don't have it. And I suspect that would be blocked by some kind of a copyright thing. I don't know. I don't want to play that game. I already played that game with Dolly Parton's people for the LSU game during football season, and they got the win on that one. They got me pretty good on that. I would like to play it, though. As far as this game goes, wow. First of all, I did not think that Auburn was going to be able to pull out a double-digit win, much less 15 points. I mean, remember now, coming in, LSU was undefeated. What were they, 10-0, 11-0, something like that? The Auburn Tigers were 11-1. And, I mean, I thought Auburn was going to win the game, mostly because it's at Auburn Arena, and I like this team. I like this Auburn team, and I thought if you're looking at teams that are more or less even, I think both of these teams are near the top of the SEC. You give it to the home team. But, wow, Auburn's defense, specifically Walker, also Dillon had a couple blocks, and I know Jabari had at least one. I think Auburn finished with 14. You guys can probably see that better. Yeah, they gave Jabari 1, Dillon 2, and Walker had 11 today. So LSU likes to drive. They're not really a three-point shooting team, which was what was weirding me out so much early on. When Auburn's up 18-1, LSU had taken 11 three-pointers. Like, BP would be very enthusiastic about letting LSU just fire away from three-point range because that is not their game. They like to ISO and drive. They're drivers, drive and dish. They rely on Xavier Pinson to get in the lane, and then these other guys like number 4 had a good game, Days. And the transfer from Cincinnati is also a big guy, too, that helps them a lot as he receives the ball off a dish and drive. So once they were scared of Walker, honestly. They were worried about getting into the lane and him kind of lurking around there and messing up their shots. And by God, that's exactly what Walker did all damn night. Finished with 11 blocks, which is just absolutely crazy. Here's the super chat coming in from CDF. I mentioned this earlier. I can't play neck, but it is a pretty funny idea. One of those songs that the LSU people like to play. Also, Chip jumps in here. Says, I hope other teams hate Walker Kessler as much as I like him. That's an interesting idea. I like that. It's funny, Chip, you say that. I know you've been on the Walker Kessler bandwagon for a long time, as have I. I mean, I was going to practices in the summer telling you guys about it. But some people on the bunker early in the season were, like, lampooning Walker. Do you remember that? I mean, he was kind of timid, honestly, early on in the – oh, my goodness, we've gotten a super chat from one of our absolute superstars. Caddy Wampus jumped in. I'm going to come right back to you, Caddy Wampus, because Deezer – my man. Absolutely. We love to see Deezer jumping in. Says, I'll try to call. I love the basketball. War Eagle. Deezer, as you guys know, is an absolute stud, and he's been fighting through some stuff, and we're just fired up that he's out here kicking it, doing his thing. Caddy Wampus jumps in. Monetary support. Plus, Will Wade is a biatch, and I'm drunk. Thanks for this drain. I am so stoked to hear you're drunk on a Wednesday, buddy. Thank you, Bruce Pearl, for doing this to your liver. It'll be fine. It'll rally. Nothing wrong with that. Love the name, by the way. I always do that. And then Blake R., one of our newest bunks, but one of our best bunks. So here's a strong-ass donation. War Damn Eagle. I love it, man. Blake R. coming in from the East Coast. And also he is able to, I don't know if he actually does, drinks out of one of his Swoogan. He got one of the Swoogan glasses. Fired up about that. Yeah. So I think we got caught up there. That's good. The biggest thing, of course, I think from an Auburn perspective, were the 14 blocks, and that really messed with LSU. They like to drive, and when you've got dudes lurking in the lane that are going to swat you, and I also Auburn. I remember when I covered Kentucky, there was a guy named Nazi Muhammad, and he did a lot of the things that Walker does, but he would swat balls out of bounds, and it always drove Patino crazy, and later Tubby, to be like, let's try to keep the ball. Let's try to retain possession. That's something you see that a lot with Walker, where he doesn't swat the ball, he kind of roofs you, and then he oftentimes gets that to a teammate. So not only do you get the block, then you can also get the ball out in transition and kind of get more value out of the block rather than just swatting it out of bounds and letting them kind of reset their offense. So that's something I really wanted to give Walker a shout out for. I mean, it's one thing to block 11 shots, but I'd like to know how many of those shots resulted in a retained possession for Auburn. I think it was a high percentage, and that's something he's really, really good at. And it's something you don't necessarily think about. Canoe Man says, "Sing Neck, please." I do not know the song. I'm sorry. I know of it. I've heard you guys make reference to it, but I don't know that. Let's see. Canoe Man, thanks, bro. I don't know the song. I have to admit. And Mobile Alum jumps in again, says, "I know J-Head might not be available. Can we get another Auburn basketball expert on the line?" I don't even know if J-Head's really a basketball expert per se. He's a recruiting expert for sure and a basketball expert also. But to me, I mean, it would be like AU Storm 20, Auburn alumni is a great basketball person. Crocky Poo, obviously, is very knowledgeable. So we'll see. I mean, we're going to open up the phone lines for sure, and we'll get some folks on. I would love to do that. Looks like we got D Lucky out here as well. Is he checking in? Deezer getting some love. Damn, out of sorts. Didn't know he was draining. Yeah, I know. We kind of kept it quiet. We were talking about it on the show last night, I guess yesterday afternoon. But we wanted to get into it, yeah. I like doing it for conference games if possible. The 9 o'clock games, no way, because it's just too late. But anyway, so the block shots were a big deal. And Walker, I think, being more assertive as a part of the offense, right? I thought, the first month of the season or something like that, he's kind of timid on the scoring end. Not the defensive end, but on the scoring end. And I just think he was a matter of just not feeling confident about what he can do. And I think the St. Louis game, in my opinion, was where it changed a little bit, where they were running those. Remember, if you guys remember, they had kind of like that pick and roll roller where he was getting the dunks, the alley-oops. I think, and he was getting to the cup really, really fast. It was basically 2 steps and up. And to me, that was like, wow, that's like a whole new gear for him kind of on the offensive end. Had another nice game against Murray State in the game before this one. And then tonight, same deal, man. He made himself available. Again, he's kind of weird. I mentioned this in the piece that I posted. Not great on the hooks and not great on like the little fallaways. He did hit one, but when he just kind of gets squared up and takes a more traditional shot, which he can do because he's 7'1", man, I'd like to know what his shooting percentage is when he's squared up. I bet it's 75%. So he gets 16 points today on 6 of 8 shooting. He had 9 rebounds. BP was joking on the post-game radio that they're going to find a team rebound to get him and transfer one of those team rebounds to him, or else somebody, one of the scorekeepers, is going to lose their job. He was just kidding, of course. And then 11 blocks for him. So really, really accomplished night. I think there's only been one triple-double in Auburn history. It was Kenny Gabriel years ago, who was one hell of a player. It was too bad he was playing on such a bad team because, well, the team was okay, but it seemed like nobody cared. Everybody cares now. Ryan S. jumps in, says this is for Gary 7. This one is for Gary 7, of course, who was a very voluminous poster on the bunker and talked a bunch of shit about how Walker Kessler wasn't going to come to Auburn because he would dare walk away from the greatness at UNC. And, of course, Walker came right on over. And, by the way, Garrison Brooks, who was his co-partner over there at UNC, is now at Mississippi State. And they beat Arkansas tonight. What the heck has happened to Arkansas? They've lost 3 of 4. One of the teams that I would have thought would be right in that top tier with Auburn. So now I think it's going to be Auburn, LSU, Alabama, and Tennessee are probably your 4 best teams in the league. I think Arkansas is probably a step down. Oh, Kentucky's right there, too. Somebody in that group's going to have to fall off. I'm not sure who it's going to be. And, again, Tennessee's playing at Alabama tonight. That's the game that's on ESPN2 now. And I'm interested to see what happens with that. AU Taxman says, getting the ball to Jabari at the elbow opens up so many opportunities. It really does. He is such a gifted mid-range shooter, and it's kind of a lost art, right? In the NBA these days, it's basically 3 or inside, and the mid-range jumper is kind of a lost art. But it seems like with that being so good for Jabari, he can also shoot the 3. I think he's a 44% three-point shooter. Was not great tonight, 2 of 8. But he did hit one there late that I thought was kind of a dagger-type play. You're right. His mid-range game really changes things up. Deacon J is noting that Arkansas didn't have Noté tonight against Mississippi State. They lost by 15, I think. So that's kind of what we're dealing with there. What else jumped out from this game? Xavier Pinson had a pretty good game for them, 13 points, but only 3 of 11 shooting, and he had a lot of trouble getting to the hole. And I felt like there were points in the first and second half where he just wasn't seeing things very well, and you could tell he was frustrated. I don't know exactly how Auburn was. They were doing something with the screens that was confusing his reads on them, and it was pissing him off for a long time. And really, I think when Auburn got up 18-1, that's just such a huge margin to start with. And LSU made some nice rallies, I think, running ISO stuff, but yeah, not nearly enough. Let's see. Mobile Alum says, how far do you see this team going in the tournament? I mean, that's a tough call there. I mean, because the tournament is just so random, you know. It's just so random. It has to do with matchups, and I think every year there's really good teams that don't make it to the Final Four, and then there's teams that just get hot at the right time and they make it. You think of George Mason 10 or 15 years ago. Seton Hall back in 89. All kinds of stuff like that. There's a bunch of them. Let's see. Nick Williams checks in to say that Tennessee's up 36-35 on the Bam Bams. That would be nice to see that. Also, I want to show you guys. I've got that. That's the stat sheet there. I also got the latest KenPom numbers here up. And you can see Auburn's got a pretty nice set of numbers now. Defensively, statistically not where LSU was. LSU came in number one adjusted efficiency for defense, where Auburn is merely number 6 in the country. But I thought Auburn definitely flexed its defensive muscles today and showed what they do best. Block percentage, 22%. 22% of possessions run against Auburn, and this includes tonight's game, result in a block. I mean, it's preposterous. I mean, most teams would be in the 15%, and Auburn's at 22%. That's really a big deal, and that's Walker Kessler for the most part. It's just so weird. One of the first things I talked about when we started up this show was that there's people in the bunker that were mocking him and saying, this guy shucks. I mean, not tonight, but like 3 or 4 weeks ago, and we're just like, guys, seriously, just hold on. And AU Taxpan was noting earlier as well here in the chat and also on the bunker that Auburn Twitter is really something to see, particularly, well, you know, they've been winning a lot of games this year. I imagine when they lose, and they will lose a few here, I'd like to see how it's going to go. Sam Howell is predicting a 4 seed or higher for Auburn. That is definitely what I see, barring some kind of major injury to like Jabari or Walker or Al Flanagan. I think the other guys you can kind of live with. Those 3, I think, KD too. I think KD's attitude is just so infectious. His attention to defense, his 3-point shooting, and his willingness to go to the hole, and he's just fearless. You need players like that. Is KW the most valuable player? Probably Walker Kessler. I don't know. You can make an argument for Walker. You can make an argument for Jabari, and you can make an argument for KD, I think. Madison says, does anyone smell corn dogs tonight? All right, let's get back to our base page here, and I will open the phone lines. I bet AU Storm 20 is going to be calling in. Bro. And, phone lines are now open here on the Brain Drain. AU Storm, you hit me earlier. Sorry, bro, I didn't have it fired up yet. So if you want to hit me back, there he is right here. We got AU Storm 20 on the line. What's up, brother?
What's up, JG? How you doing tonight?
Man, it's basketball season again, and I know the one thing. That means you're going to be on the horn.
Man, I love me some round ball, especially when Auburn's involved.
Yeah, I do too, man. That's my passion as well.
I just want to go ahead and start off by saying that I'm glad I get to attend a basketball game in a basketball arena and not an airport hangar, because watching this game in Coleman Coliseum is just brutal right now.
Yeah, well.
So
that stadium really weirds me up because it's like oriented wrong, right? Like it's a rectangle, but the court is like across the short side of it. So it's just, I don't know, it's weird to me.
Well, and the student section is weird because it goes like all the way up to the top. Like it's not really a student section. But there is nowhere else to put it. So it's just, I hope they just play in that dump forever because they deserve it.
They deserve it, don't they?
Yeah, man, what a win. And honestly, I know I said this in the chat, but I feel like we should have won by more than what we did.
I think that's fair.
Just the way that we shut them down. I had a little bit of concern because there was a little bit of unknown about LSU coming to the game because, yeah, they're undefeated. Yeah, they really hadn't played anybody. So, like, are they going to come out and actually be really good, or are they going to be okay? And like you mentioned earlier, it was a little confusing how they were just coming out and just jacking up shots. And I think that was part of our kind of initial thing was, hey, let them shoot because they're not great from three.
Right.
Like, they love to drive. So let them shoot. And it kind of worked out. And I think we really could have put the foot to the pedal there and really blew this thing open, but kind of let them back in. And look, the thing that's crazy to me is that this team still can be better than what it is.
Yeah.
And we're going out there and we're just absolutely pummeling a good, undefeated, Ken Palm net 3 team, and could have won easily more than what we did.
Yeah, it was a little sloppy with the turnovers today, which hadn't been a problem for Auburn lately. I think the turnovers turned this from a 15-point win to probably 25.
Yeah, I think at one point I checked, and I don't have the numbers, but it was like we had 17, maybe. Maybe I'm wrong.
Auburn finished with 21 today, which is a lot for Auburn.
21 turnovers and still won by 15.
Yeah,
I mean that's wild. But so I was there, and the humidity definitely played a factor in the second half. It was really hot in there, and the ball was slipping. Players were slipping left and right.
LSU had some dudes falling down, yeah.
LSU, they had guys falling. Jabari couldn't grip the ball. Also, what's kind of weird to me is Jabari in transition and in the open court, he kind of shields his body as he's, like, going up the court. It's weird. Like, he kind of looks like a baby deer in transition when he has the ball. That's something I feel like he could develop and be better at because he tries to be, like, cautious with it. Like, there was one time he had it and he, like, tried to pass and maybe he got it stolen, but he's definitely interesting with the ball in the open court. So I'm going to keep an eye on that this year and see if he develops into a little better in that because that could be a real big factor into his game. But I don't know. I was very impressed. I was a little concerned about how before the game how our point guards were going to be able to guard a guy like Xavier Pinson and the other guy they had. I can't remember his name, but they were. I was curious to see how they handled that, and I mean, look, they struggled early on, and we were able to take the lead and never give it back, and I was pretty impressed by that.
Yeah, I was too. I mean, because that really hadn't been something Auburn's been great at this year. Auburn's gotten ahead in a lot of games, and then in a lot of games they've kind of futzed around and allowed the other team to get in. But, and LSU got it closer at some point, but a couple times they got it down to, I think, 6-ish or 8-ish, and Auburn just kind of turned it on. You mentioned that about Jabari being a little tentative in the full court. BP was talking about that in the postgame radio, saying that when we have someone bring it up who is not a point guard, our turnover percentage is absurd, and we got to work on that, is what he was saying. So that would fall into what you're talking about, that when Jabari's the one triggering the offense in the full court, bad things tend to happen, and I think part of it is that he's tentative. But it's fixable. It's all fixable.
Yeah, and that's what's crazy about this team is that every game you can see something they're getting better at or need to work on. The next day they come out and then they're better at it. For example, the St. Louis game, right, rebounding. We got absolutely destroyed on glass. They worked on it. They emphasized it. Murray State game, we out-rebounded Murray State. And, today that wasn't really an issue. So there's just like things that it's what's so impressive about this coaching staff and even these players is that they have a high IQ for the game and want to learn and then, take what the coaches are giving them and the next game execute it and emphasize it. And I think that's what can make this team very successful compared to some other teams in the past. Like this could definitely we might have some games that slip up. Of course, that always happens. It's a long season. But, when it comes to the time, to play and to when tournament time comes, this team could be something special. And, as long as we can stay healthy, stay out of the protocol, whatever's going on with that.
Yeah.
You got to like what we have. And I thought we might miss Cambridge tonight. We might have a little bit, but I was impressed with Flanagan. I mean, I thought there was no way he'd have in his second game close to 30 minutes, and I think he had 28 tonight.
Yeah, BP was saying way too many. He knew in the post game. He was like, "We played him too much, didn't we?" But
and I don't know if you could have put Chris Moore in there to try to. That's an interesting player to watch and see. I think his minutes are going to get cut. Unfortunately, I liked him early on, but I don't really know if he fits what we're trying to do.
I think it's just
right
confidence
now.
for him. It's just confidence, man. I don't think he's a great shooter. He's probably their second or third best shooter on the team, but he just doesn't have the confidence to pull the trigger in games. It's like he's tentative in games. When he's out in practice, he's great.
Well, speaking of confidence, you know how last year we talked about Jalen Williams plays to his matchup? I think we're back to that again.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Same thing with him.
That's someone who struggles with confidence.
But he'll have 4 games in this season stretch, this SEC stretch, where he's going to be insane. Like, he'll have 4 great games, and then he'll be just kind of like another dude, the other, 16.
Yeah, and I honestly think that's who he's matched up against. I remember last year at LSU, Darius Days matched up with him, and he was non-existent. I think the same thing kind of happened again tonight. And look, if he can fill some minutes and get us to the under 4 timeouts and TV timeouts while Jabari rests, and like you said, if there's those games where he can hit a couple threes, get a couple rebounds, blocks, play well, then that's great. And that's a bench depth that we probably never had before, which is what's so impressive about this team, is that we just have the depth that we really don't. There may be 1 or 2 rotations that we slack off a lot, but other than that, like, the bench can carry us through the year, and that's something that we've hardly had a lot recently. Maybe last year or 2 years ago's team, but before then, bench play was what it was, and this year there's not a lot of drop off.
No, there's not. This is a really good team, man. I mean, if it stays together the way it is, nobody gets hurt. Yes, this team's going to be filthy. Really, really good.
Yeah.
All right, brother.
Well,
I love having you on, man. You're such a great caller, because you always got you got your few things that you really honed in on, and you just kind of bounce it into the ether. We love you.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. I love basketball season. Love the drain. Hope the Bams can lose tonight and make it a really good night. And
Bam, bam.
We'll also Auburn Twitter. I don't know what set this off, but man, it is a bloodbath out there. It is hilarious. I don't know what's going on.
Some of the takes are interesting, that's for sure.
I mean, I think we're if not over 1,000. That LSU tweet about the game is over 1,000 replies.
Wow. Well, they deserve every bit they get.
Yeah, I appreciate it, JG. Have a good one.
All right, see you, brother.
See you, man.
There he is. I know Deezer was trying to call in. I had AU Storm on there, so that's why I didn't pick you up, bro. We did have a few super chats. I want to get you though, Deezer. Here you come. He's coming in right now. My man, Deezer, what's up, bro?
What's up, Mr. JG?
Word. How you been, man?
I'm hanging in there.
That's what I like to hear.
Yes, sir.
Did you have a chance to take that one in tonight from start to finish?
I did.
And I bet that was satisfying for you, wasn't it?
It was, man. I love Auburn basketball. And they played really good.
Yeah, they did.
I got a couple texts early on from a couple guys that are really taking care of me and keeping in touch with me, and like Figgy Pooh. I told them, I was like, you gotta realize that they haven't played a great schedule. LSU hasn't, but they're very talented, and they were going to come back, and they did. And we got a really talented team. Really talented team.
Yeah, for sure.
And yeah,
they play some great defense, man. They swatted a lot of shots, but You ever notice how many of those shots they just kind of keep for themselves? I think it's pretty.
A lot of it is, I mean, that's taught, and you have to learn that over a process. And I'm sure, especially the guy who's the head shot blocker who's got 11 tonight has been told different ways to lead those shots into trying to lead them into fast breaks and things like that. But that's just part of what goes together in chemistry of a team. And you start adding another great player like Alan Flanagan to the starting lineup, and we're going to be in hellified progression to doing very well. And I've been trying to watch this Tennessee-Alabama game here, and I'm not really overly impressed with either one of them. I think both their games are verged on getting to the basket and then working that to getting open 3-pointers on the outside. And that's kind of what LSU was doing as well.
For sure.
I think LSU is more athletic than either one of these teams. Although I don't know how the LSU coach still has a job with what he's got on tape, but
we're all kind of wondering that.
Well, we'll just be happy with what we got, and we go from there. Yeah,
it's gonna be fun. March and April are gonna be fun, brother.
Yes, sir.
For sure.
How was your Christmas, my man?
Man, it was good. I was getting ready for the brain drain, so I went dry for a few days, and then yesterday we got brown watered up big time, dude. I don't remember the last hour of the show. I don't think. So
I'm sorry I wasn't there for you.
About the normal.
I love you, man.
It's just normal.
You're a great dude.
Deezer, no, you're a great dude, bro. We're glad to have you on the bunker, man.
Hey, I thank you for being one of the people that makes me want to stay there and giving me, just that extra instance of survivability. I love you guys, man. I don't get on there enough anymore. I appreciate it.
You bet, bro.
What do you think about our next game?
South Carolina's not very good, honestly. So I would expect Auburn to win that game.
Frank always has a good game plan for Auburn. Man.
Yeah, because they're super physical.
Kermit with Ole Miss. I mean,
that's true.
Kermit from Ole Miss and Frank, they both always have a good game plan for Auburn.
That's true.
Always.
South Carolina's going to be super, super physical, man. They're going to punch you in the face. So you just got to be ready for that. Yep. But they don't have the talent that they've had. I mean, they were bad last year, and I think they're a little bit better now, but I don't know.
Yeah. They played a few good teams. LSU didn't. And I think LSU is going to probably pick it up at some point this year. Oh, yeah. They're going to win a lot of games.
Yeah, they're good.
They didn't really play a lot of good quality opponents in the non-conference, and we did. We played even the teams that most people won't know that are, not really technically basketball fans won't know.
Right, like Loyola Chicago.
Really good.
Yeah, Loyola Chicago's a good one. UConn, Syracuse, UCF.
Yale's going to play good together all year. They probably will win their conference this year. So, there's a lot of those. But, and the world don't like us. ESPN don't like it. We know that.
Yeah.
So that's fine.
I'm not worried about that.
That's why we're Auburn. I ain't worried about it either. Because when you get in the tournament, as long as you win the games, it don't matter.
Like was proved in 19, that point was proven.
Yeah.
Yes,
well,
sir.
This is the kind of team that has that type of characteristics. They have people who can score. They have so many people that can score if you need them to. If they're left with the ball late in the shot clock, or if Pearl says, you know what, we need somebody to go mano and get us a score. You got Jabari Smith. He's going to score.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't, hey, you got still the best player in the floor taking the shot, and you can't go wrong with that.
Mm-mm.
So
he's instant offense, man.
Really, yeah. Well, they're a great team, and they play. The whole thing is, forget the offense, is the defense. They play great defense together. They play together. They play together offensively. And if you play like that throughout the season and into the tournament, it doesn't matter who you play in the tournament. Keep playing that way, and if you're gifted as we are, we can win any of those games. So that's what I'm hoping for.
Yes, sir.
It won't always happen, but it can.
Damn right. Man,
Definitely can.
BP Rockman just dropped a super chat in your honor, bro. A big one, too. Said, for our man, Deezer 13.
Tell Mr. BPS that I love you.
Yeah, he's a badass.
And, yeah, he's a good dude, man.
Absolutely.
A lot of great dudes on the bunker. If you're not on the bunker, you should join the bunker.
That's what I like to hear.
Great place.
My man.
A lot of great people.
All right, brother. Deezer, you're an absolute legend, dude, and we all got your back, man.
I appreciate it, my friend.
Wow.
I love you. You have a great rest of your evening. Thank you for doing these things, man. It definitely keeps us all going.
Yeah, man. Love you, Deezer.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
See you, bro.
Love you too, brother.
Bye.
Bye.
There he is, Deezer. What a stud, man. He's a fighter. He's definitely a fighter. Puts up his dukes, you know what I'm saying? We got some super chats we got to get back through. I had this one up from Easterwood for a minute. I thought it was pretty damn funny. Jay, ask your sources. If Walker was given a team rebound to get the triple Chubble. A reference to Rob Chubb from years ago. The triple Chubble. I haven't heard that one in a minute. That's good stuff. Sam jumping in again. First time seeing Flanny with some actual playing minutes. That's right. He went from 12 minutes in Murray State to, I think Deezer said 28. Is that right? 29 officially. I may have just misstated what Deezer said. But, yeah, huge jump up in workload there. And he seemed fine. I mean, no worse for the wear. Didn't have his best shooting night, but I think for him it's just going to be a matter of just getting, I don't know, not necessarily confident, just getting back in the flow of playing, at the speed that these games go. It's a lot different than practice, even though Auburn practices can be pretty fast. Obviously, there's a lot of talent on the floor when they're having practice. But it takes a little while just to get in the rhythm, and he will get it. You saw today he had some nice shots. He had some big clutch threes. Had one late that was just, it was filthy. T-Roy Tiger jumps in, my man. I was listening on Radio Baldwin again. That's my favorite place to listen to the shows on the streaming site they have. It says, Crocky Poo, drain the dog, then call the drain. That's right. Crocky Poo kind of aborted our the show quickly. He was on the call yesterday, and then he kind of jumped off quickly. And we thought it was because, like his girl had done something, and he later said it was because he had to let his dog out. I was checking. I would see what the number is. 2342. The number's not coming off the top of my tongue the way that it should. Hold on, bro. I'll tell you here in just a second. Oh, well, there it was. No, it's 230. That's what it is. It's 230-5035. Yeah, T-Roy Tiger, appreciate you, bro. Hopefully we do hear from Crocky Poo tonight. I guess he's in the chat. I just haven't been able to see that. BP jumped in earlier just to give us a War Damn Eagle. Appreciate you, bro. And then he jumped in again with another super chat. This one was a bomber. This is a big and a fitty for our man Deezer, who, as you guys know, he's been pretty open about it on the bunker. He's been fighting through some health issues that have been pretty gnarly. And for those of you who are frequent trainers, you remember Deezer, he would call us, I think it was last football season, and he was not in a great place, honestly. I think Duff Diver just tried to call me. My bad, bro. Call me back. I'm sorry I missed it. I was just babbling. My bad. Yeah, and he had to fight, man. He's had to fight. Hayden says, gosh, this team is so good, JGT. Yeah, they got a lot. Yeah, they got a lot, yo. A lot of pieces. They got a lot of depth. And as Deezer was mentioning, I mean, their bench is good, too. I mean, the second team groups, if you want to call them second team, is still pretty damn good. Might still be a top half of the SEC type team, just the second team guys. Let's see what. Cleveland says 101 watchers as I'm posting this, but only 29 likes. Don't leave the Commodore hanging and do your part. Hit the like button. Up to 33 now. We love the likes. Appreciate you guys if you're enjoying that. There he is, my man. What's up, brother?
JG.
Hey, what do you want me to put your handle as?
These nuts. Got him.
Got him. I don't know. I got you listed as Duff Diver. I don't know. Are you good with that?
That's all good. It's all good. Can we take a moment and just reflect on how shitty Auburn basketball was before Bruce Pearl was here?
It was a joke.
And the unbelievable. I mean, has anyone in the history, and I'm asking sincerely, there may be someone, turned such a dog shit program around into a perennial power? Any sport.
Does this guy have a way with words or what, y'all? It's pretty amazing, man.
I mean, I remember when we needed a bucket, we went down low to Rob Chubb. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
What the fuck? I mean, I know one of those years when Kentucky had Rondo, I showed up to the game about 15 minutes after tip and walked right down the center court and was 2 rows back. You know, it's just amazing. It's amazing, and I hate that they're not coming out to A&M this year. But I'm going to try to make one of these road trips or something because they're just it's so much fun to watch. It's the exact opposite of watching our football program over the last 5 years or so.
I know you've been frustrated,
and it's so much fun. I mean, even when they don't play well, it's fun.
Yeah.
Because at some point it's going to come through. The defense is phenomenal. You know, one of the things I've heard you talk about with the blocks, Walker Kessler is really elite at pinning the ball and allowing it to ricochet off the backboard, which gets it going the other way, which you know obviously lends itself to fast break points. But yeah, I mean it's hard to put into words. To me, you know, Walker Kessler is kind of like Trooper Taylor in my mind. Obviously not a coach, but I mean you love him because he's your guy. Everyone else probably hates his ass because he completely changes the dynamic of the game. And it's just it's amazing. I hope the kid plays himself into a top 10 lottery type pick, but to the same, you know, I would love to have him another year, but man, I think he's playing himself into a lot of money here at Auburn, and that's going to be a great recruiting pitch.
Yeah,
you know, go to Carolina, it doesn't work out. You come to Auburn, and you know, you go top 10, top 15, something like that.
Well, I love the idea that, you know, you go to Carolina and things don't work out. You come to Auburn to get where you need to go, not North Carolina.
That's it.
That's what I like.
That's,
and by the way,
exactly
North
right.
Carolina sucks. Just my opinion. Hey, man, you were super chatting me yesterday, and you super chatted me tonight, too. I want to thank you for that. Appreciate you doing that.
Always.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I'm going to have to start super chatting this damn offensive line NIL, too. So, we got to quit bullshitting. You know, all these years I've been talking shit. I need to go and help buy some of these kids.
Yeah.
It's all there is to it. Texas is doing a hell of a job here. I think they're paying all their scholarship offensive linemen $50K a year.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
So, you know, hopefully they'll stop letting those kids go to Bama and they'll start locking some of them up. But, you know, who knows? $50K might be light for what you're getting in Tuscaloosa. You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
But, when's the next bunker event, Jay? I'm gonna try to scoot over there at some point.
Well, I mean, we might just set it up whenever you're going to be over this way. But I was thinking about probably next one's going to be in Birmingham, probably January or February.
Is there a big basketball game that we can center it around, or?
Well, I mean, they don't play in Birmingham or anything, but.
Well, I mean, you know, like a venue or something where you catch the game and then do a live after show or something like that.
Yeah. Probably something like that.
We could get. How many people can you fit in Voodoo? I mean, what's going to get the fire marshal called? You know what I'm saying? That's
not a good place to party because I don't know if they want the brown water in there. You and I need brown water to fuel us. You know what I mean?
Listen. Never mind. I'm not going to talk about the prison wallet, Jay.
All right, bro. It's probably the best idea.
Nonetheless, man, thank you as always. Great show. Looking forward to hearing other callers. So much fun watching this team, man, and I'm glad they have the support. The jungle's amazing. The crowd is amazing, especially when you take into account what it once was. And as far as I'm concerned, they need to go ahead and damn name the arena after Bruce, or at least the court. And does he have grandkids, by the way? Does he have any grandchildren?
Yeah, he does now. Yeah.
Are they male heirs?
I'm not sure on that. I mean, they're really young. I don't know. I think
not
he might
that
have
it really
two.
matters, but hey, give Bruce, Steven, and the whole damn crew, the bloodline, give them all lifetime contracts.
The whole bloodline.
It's not our money, anyways. You know.
Yeah.
It's practically the same as buying out the next coach we're going to fire in football, so it's all good.
All right, brother. Appreciate you, man.
All right, later, bro.
See you, man. We got, and thanks to Duff Diver calling in from Texas. I don't know if you guys saw this. We just got a super chat that was an absolute monster. Look at this. She's been awesome like yesterday going off, today as well. Thank you so much, young lady. Happy holidays to you and administrative assistant. Y'all rock. Hope to see y'all next time you're in L.A., i.e. Lower Alabama. The drain means a lot to a lot of AU folks. Thanks for all you do. Man, got to give it up there for Mobile alum. She was a big part of our when we had we did the show at Voodoo Mobile in the spring. We had Reese was over there, Reese Dismukes, and Jay Head was there as well. It was fun to be hanging out and meeting folks like that. So I appreciate you so much, Mobile alum. That was really, really generous of you. Thank you. And AU Mike says Duff Diver for Caller of the Year. I play Warzone with him. Well, I did before. Well, like up till about 3 weeks ago, he got a PS5 or something. But we play a lot on Warzone, and we talk a lot of smack, me and him. Mobile says, "Hey, had a blessed year sharing the wealth with the fam." Thank you so much. That's incredible. The generosity is insane. Caddy Wumpus says Mobile just motorboated the brain drain. Yeah, I think she thinks that's probably pretty funny right there. Cleveland Brown says something I didn't even know is true. He says, does anyone else find it weird that Bob Stoops is coaching on the OU sideline? Hell yeah, I find that very weird. I didn't know that was real. Is that real? Is that real? Call Me Biscuit says Reese had some great stories. Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell Duff about the offer from Canoe Man and others to join them in Columbia for the game coming up the next week. We have to wait till Tuesday. We can make an 80s band about it till Tuesday. We have to go to Tuesday until we have another basketball game, which kind of stinks. January 4th is my mom's birthday, by the way. So I won't be going on that trip. She's turning a Sprite 48 or something like that. I don't know. I think she's lost count of that one. Mobile alum says, give and ye shall receive. See what I'm talking about, folks? Incredible. Duff Diver, man, he cracks me up in these calls, man. Because we have some R-rated shit-talking conversations when we're playing Warzone, by the way. Somebody else made a reference to Rick Stansberry, who I spent a lot of time, not necessarily a lot of time covering, but it seems like I ran into him more than I wanted to when he was at Mississippi State, when we would go to like Atlanta for the SEC tournament and stuff. He's quite a character. His wife's great, Mio. She's very, very pro Rick Stansberry, I'll put it that way. Pocket Watch says, yes, join us in the suite, capital S. And yes, Mobile alum did get a kick out of the motorboating thing. I didn't know. I thought you were kidding. I thought you were being like facetious about having a suite. Is there a story there? What's the story on that? Keeping them eligible says, does Auburn have multiple first-round picks on the roster? Al or Walker sneak in there? Man, Walker's a tricky one. I mean, I think if he's a first-round pick, I think it would be late. It just seems like explosive players are the ones that make the big money right now. And you remember Andrew Bogut. It seems like he's kind of scared people off because he was such a hyped prospect going to the NBA, and he kind of faltered a little bit. And I don't know. It seems like everybody's looking for guards and wings and fours that can shoot threes and stuff. I don't know. What's the story? I mean, I'm just saying, like, I'm not saying that you're not capable of having a suite or anything. I'm just saying, like, it seems like an odd place, like Carolina. Like, why there? I don't know. Al is a weird one. I don't know how to assess him in a draft context. He is, when he's 100%, he is quite explosive. His three-point shooting, I think for that it's more of a projection thing because he was bad his freshman year. He was incredibly improved last year. And then here we are kind of ready for him to kind of go into the stratosphere, right, and take that next step up to big-time numbers, and then he, suffered the partially torn Achilles. He's back now, and he's good, but now it's going to take him 5 or 6 games just to get in the rhythm, and then he's only going to really get a half season of good statistical rollovers. So we'll see what happens on that. Let's see. Blake R says, I'm going into lurk listen mode and can't chat while I drive my arse home. Okay, bro. Please drive safely, brother. You're out in a part of the country that I wonder about sometimes. Seems like it would be dark out there. I don't know. Canoe Man says, yes, my unemployed ass cannot hide money at Pocket Watch. Oh, my goodness. How about that? Maybe I should, let's see. I'll tell you what. I'll take a look at the, we've pretty much gone over the box score. And we looked at the Ken Palm stuff. Again, as something that AU Storm 20 had talked about, Auburn wins the game by 15 despite having 21 turnovers. And BP mentioned in the post-game show that without the turnover problem, which he acknowledged was a problem today, they win this game. He didn't give a number, but I think they win this game by 25 points. And Auburn had been really, really tight with turnovers the last, 5 games or so. This one just kind of let it get away a little bit. And also BP seemed frustrated. Even though Auburn won the rebounding battle by 6 or 7, he did mention on his own in the postgame that they got out-rebounded in the second half, which really pissed him off. But, he's happy with the win and all that. I know what we were going to do. We want to get Cristiano on the horn. I talked to him earlier, and he said he would love to come on. Man, look at these calls, dude. We had Nick the Pipe Layer on the other night. Mama do that. We had him on yesterday. Here's Cristiano. Let's get him on the horn. These sweet tickets weren't one President Jackson, Pocket Watch says. They were 2.
Yo.
What's up, Cristiano?
Not much.
How are you progressing there?
I just put the story up on the bunker, so progressing well.
Your takeaways. 3 takeaways, is that what you did today?
Yeah, 3 takeaways. The main one was obviously Walker Kessler and his fantastic performance. Second one was Alan Flanagan. I was extremely impressed with him. Didn't expect him to play 29 minutes in his second game back. And Bruce said that was too many, so that'll get scaled down moving forward. But I think the rust is shaking off a lot quicker than I expected to. And then Auburn's defense. All the talk was about LSU's defense and what they brought to the table, and Auburn's defense was better than LSU's defense tonight, and that was kind of the key factor.
That's absolutely true. LSU came in with one of the top defenses in the country, if not the number one. According to Ken Palm, it was number one. But, Auburn came in, 6th, 7th, 8th, something like that. So, it's 2 outstanding defenses. And I thought that Walker Kessler with 11 blocks and Auburn with 14 overall, that just changed what LSU wanted to do, and it messed them up, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. Walker was outstanding there in the paint. Bruce said that if you can find a better rim protector and shot blocker in the country, let him know, because Walker is probably that guy, and I would agree with him there. The progression, and I wrote about this a little bit as well, the progression that we've seen out of Walker this season has been outstanding. First couple games, he wasn't all that impressive necessarily. You could see the defense. He was still racking up blocks, and he was still a big presence back there, but offensively, he's gotten a lot better. I think the Auburn guards and the other players around him have started to do a better job feeding him the ball in the paint.
Yes.
And it's paid off for Auburn with big performances out of him. So it's been pretty good to see for Auburn just the past 6 weeks or so how Walker has progressed.
Yeah, I think for me it's been 2 weeks. I thought that the St. Louis game was where he got all those alley-oops, and he just got really assertive after that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he got some confidence, and he has just really not looked back at all. He scored in double figures last 4 games for Auburn, and then I think his lowest block total in those 4 games was 4, and he's had 5, 7, and 8, and now the 11, and then he's had a ton of rebounds as well. So he's started to play more aggressive, and he just looks more comfortable out there.
Yeah. Are you starting to get a feeling like this team's going to be challenging for the SEC regular season championship?
I certainly think so, and I think that Alan Flanagan being a little bit ahead of schedule, at least it seems like so far, is a big part of that. I think that would have been an issue potentially for just competing for the regular season and could have caused some issues, losing some games during the regular season. But so far he seems a little bit ahead of schedule, and I think that's going to be key. I mean, moving forward, the next 2 games, South Carolina and Florida, I think that's probably 2 wins for Auburn. So off to probably a 3-0 start, and things are looking good.
That'd be real good. There's been a lot of talk here that they have officially changed the score sheet to reflect that Walker has 10 rebounds. Have you seen that?
They did, yeah. I was not there. BMAT and Stoltz were there, but BMAT said that they officially switched it, so it's just the second triple-double in Auburn basketball history.
Wow, there we go. Okay. On the stat sheet, on the stats I've got, it still says 9, but it doesn't matter what I see. It matters what they do. So, word. That's a big deal, man. Triple-double, a triple-trouble.
Yeah, and with blocks. I mean, the one with Kenny Gabriel was also with blocks, kind of a funny coincidence there, but you don't really see that all too often, so it's definitely kind of interesting.
Yeah, for sure. All right, bro. Let's see what else we got. Walker was awesome. Jabari, not awesome, but still effective. 16 points on 5 of 12 shooting? You think about he didn't have a great game, and he had 16 points. I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it felt like a really quiet game for him, and he started off the game pretty slow, and then there was that point. I think it was when LSU trimmed it to 7. He hits a 3 there to put it back to 10. He hits the buzzer beater going into halftime, and then he starts playing a little bit more aggressive in the second half. You saw how they were kind of defending him, and they were playing so close, and so he was playing more aggressive and drawing some fouls and going to the free throw line as well. So very kind of quiet 16 points out of Jabari Smith, I think, but it was still a really outstanding performance, and he hit some big shots that were big to kill LSU momentum. I mean, him and Wendell Green are kind of the momentum killers. Anytime another team starts to get some momentum, it feels like one of those 2 guys is just going to hit a big shot for Auburn and kind of bring it back.
Yeah. And KD, he likes to take people's hearts too.
Yeah, KD as well. KD is going to just steal the ball and then go and score it. But one of those 3, it really feels like, is going to hit a big shot to kill the other team's momentum.
I cannot wait for the Georgia game on January 19th because KD's going to go for 30, and then he's going to do something. He's going to get thrown out, isn't he?
Oh, yeah. I've been saying that he's going to go for like 50 points, and then as soon as he gets that 50th point, he's going to say something to Tom Crean, and he's going to get tossed, and Auburn Arena is going to love it.
It's going to be in Auburn Arena, so everybody will be cheering.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be Katie, he's had that one circled for a long time. I'm certain of that. Katie is the type of player that circles those games and looks forward to them for a long time.
Yeah, he's mean. All right, Cristiano, I will see you tomorrow when we tape the rundown and get reunited with Stoltz. You haven't seen him in a while. He's been a frequent flyer, as you know, all over the country.
Yeah, Stoltz is, we'll see if he's there tomorrow. He might just decide to take another trip. Who knows?
All right, bro. Be good.
All right. Yep.
See you, man. Bye. There he is, the assassin, doing what he does. Also, Super Chat coming through. Thank you, Mobile alum. You've been on fire the last 2 days. And the answer is yes, we'll be doing. I always intended to do brain drains when they're convenient for all of us. An 8 o'clock Central Time tip would not be an example of a convenient tip-off time. 5:30, like the next one, would be a convenient time. So I would imagine we'll do that. It's just that, here it is, 10 o'clock in the Central Time Zone. If we were just starting right now, that would be too late, I think. Sam H. jumps in with another Super Chat. This guy's insane. He's been here both days as well. He's been here like every day. Here's for live basketball brain drains on Saturdays. Hell yeah. There's no doubt. I wish that my schedule here would say which day is which, like if it's a Wednesday or a Tuesday or a Saturday. I probably should have thought ahead on that, but I didn't do it. I know that South Carolina game is midweek, the 5:30 tip, so we'll definitely hit that one. And then you got a series there of the 7, 8, 7:30, 8. It's like, yay. I don't know. Let's just see. Let's see how Auburn does. You think Auburn would beat South Carolina. You think Auburn would beat Florida. The game at Alabama's, we got to see a little bit more about Alabama, see how this game tonight ends up. That might be one where we have to go late because that's a big game. So we'll just kind of play it by ear. But, yeah, I understand. We're going to do stuff. I know you guys want to be on the hardcore basketball brain drainers, and I want to be here for you guys. So, we're going to do stuff. It ain't like I'm punting on y'all, I promise. Solo Tigres here, says Wiggle Wiggle Drainers. I know he missed us yesterday, but he left a message on our video from yesterday saying how much he missed it. So, yeah. We appreciate you, bro. And then Mobile Alum jumps in again. It says brain drains on Saturday. Basketball games. Yeah, exactly. I will. I promise. Appreciate you again, girl. Let's see. Raymond says Wendell Green looked way too fast, almost out of control tonight. Yes or no? Hell, man, that's just kind of how he plays, right? He's just kind of a hurricane, whereas Zepp is a much more careful player. Typically, they're an interesting compare and contrast type situation. Wendell had 15 points on 4 of 10 shooting tonight. Let me see. He had 4? I can't. My eyes are not that good. Wendell Green had 4. No. I can't tell his assist to turnover. 3 assists to 5 turnovers, which is not good for him. And then Zepp had 2 assists and 2 turnovers. And I'm telling you, he agonizes over every turnover. So short answer on that, Raymond, is to say no. I think he always is playing, with his speedometer broken, and he's just going. He's just rolling. That's kind of his thing. And it works a lot of the time. Hell, you mean think tonight he didn't have a great game, and he walks away with 15 points. I mean, I think Ravine super chatted me earlier and I missed it. I have a feeling that I did. I just have this sense in my head that I missed one. I sure did. Ravine, thank you, brother. I had a feeling I'd missed you, and you're always around too. Kessler was impressive tonight, but beyond the stat line was how he played defense with 3 fouls. Yeah, he picked up a third one kind of early, didn't he? And was able to stay on the floor and be aggressive. He has learned so much about what is a risk worth taking on the defensive end and what's not. I mean, I felt like early in the season he was just going at it all the time, and I think you have to learn. You have to learn how to discern between the good risks and the bad risks. So thanks, Ravine. I appreciate you, bro. Always being part of the show, one way or another. There was a funny comment that caught my eye here. He says, "What the hell was Jalen Williams doing on that attempted self alley-oop? Thought Bruce was going to show him the door." Well, he just got stuck. He had picked up his dribble. And then he rotated. He was kind of rotating on his pivot foot, and then he saw that they had overplayed him on the outside, and there was a clear lane to the rim. Like, it was a total defensive failure, and he couldn't drive. And so he just said, "Fuck it, I'll just throw it against the backboard and try to rebound it and put it in." I thought it was a pretty innovative concept. Really, I've never seen anybody do that. It didn't work out. Ultimately, went for a turnover, but he didn't have. I don't know. If I was a coach, I'd be okay with that. I'd tell him not to do that again. But I don't know. They love Jalen, and Jalen's a kid where, if he's going to be creative and aggressive like that, you don't stymie it by bitching at him, even though it was a very odd-looking play. You're right, Spicy P. It was an odd-looking play. Let's see. Ravine says, question, does anybody else feel like we need to get better at movement without the ball? That's a good point. I wrote about that a little bit, not specifically that, but I talked about how the half-court sets to me were underwhelming tonight. Walker kind of bails you out sometimes because he's just so tall, and again, when he squares up, he's a good shooter inside, really good. And then obviously Jabari mid-range saves a lot of trouble. I mean, he's kind of a great eraser in a sense. But the half-court sets in general just don't click the way that I think they should. And they still have 3 months to get that worked out. And I think they will make a lot of progress to that end. But right now, I think the half-court sets need to be improved a lot. And I think it's kind of what you're saying, Ravine. So the answer is yes. I would agree with you on that. D. Lucky is in our camp as well. J.O. says Jalen did that against Tennessee a couple years back. Golly, it's amazing you guys can remember stuff like that. I don't know how you do it, but I can't remember that stuff. Did it work? Jalen's a guy that's just kind of timid, so when you see him do something like that, you kind of want to encourage him to continue doing things like that are more aggressive, because he tends to get a little complacent on the court. D. Lucky says the ball gets stuck too much. Al is going to help there. That's true. If Al gets into passing, he tends to be a Yankadare where he takes the ball and he shoots. And the possessions end in his hands, for better or for worse. That was at least the knock on him. Let's see, Spicy Pieces didn't seem like we ran a lot of pick and roll. I'm sure that was the plan, though. They ran a really nice one there. There was the alley-oop to Walker about halfway through the second half. Was definitely a designed one. But I can't remember who had the roll on that. I mean, obviously Walker had the roll, but who was kind of had that blur concept going over the screen. I can't remember. I think it was KD. KD's he's a surprisingly good low percentage passer. Do you know what I mean? Like when he gets stuck in the air or when it seems like he's totally out of control, he can just flip the court. He can kind of do that sky pass, and it's just right on the guy's hands all the time. He's a really good bad passer. Let's see. Sam says, I'm going to catch the last minutes of the Bammers Orangers. See you guys later. Sam, appreciate you, bro. Giving you an applause on your way out, bro. My intention on the basketball brain drains is always to keep them kind of short and sweet. So, I mean, I'm not going to stay here too much longer. Again, we do these sober. I do them sober. I don't know how you guys do them. Because my liver needs a break. Yeah, that's for sure. I'm going to actually give it several days off. Let's see. D-Lucky says, Al can drive and finish right now. We have Wendell, who's a long three or a drive to the glass, or we hope he finishes in the trees. Yeah, KD does some of that too. To me, Chris Denson was the best Auburn's had at doing that. He was so well. I guess Jared was really good at that too. But I mean, it was a whole way of life for Chris Denson, and I just wish that he had been on some better teams because he was so good at that. Ravine says Jabari's pass over the top into Kessler was right on point. I've been saying this the whole time. I don't understand why Jabari, who's 6'10" or whatever, is the best guy at passing the ball inside. You'd think he'd be one of the worst. You'd think somebody who's a point guard who's made 1 billion passes in their life would be the best. But no, it's true. It's Jabari. Bill says, do you know much about the dual football basketball commit success going to push him to one more than the other? Absolutely. You're talking about Trey Donaldson, who we list on Rivals as a safety commit, but he's going to be playing basketball. He's a point guard for the basketball team. He does play safety in high school, or he did. He suffered I think it was a patella injury, or he just suffered a kind of a minor knee injury in the Peach Jam last summer. And actually tried to play through it and had a great game. And then he only played a few games football because he wasn't cleared until like the end of October or November. So he's definitely going to be a basketball guy, 100%. That was the intention from the very, very beginning. Blake says he's already home, pouring some bourbon and eating some damn good food his administrative assistant made. How about that, huh? Feel like a stranger says, love the basketball drains. Strong ass effort tonight. Appreciate you, bro. I saw you backing us up on the bunker about this. Like, hey, we're doing that. We're going to do it. Let's see. Riley M., who's been a big supporter of the show. Oregon getting put into the grinder by Oklahoma. Sheesh. Wow, I didn't know that. Man, you guys are getting to watch all kinds of cool stuff. I need to catch up. Maybe. Oh, I know what I was going to show you. One more thing. Hold on. There was one more thing I was going to show you. A situation where Auburn is making mucho progress. I'm going to close out of this Ken Palm and bring over the synergy report for Auburn. So this is this kind of next level statistical stuff that I know that Auburn, the brains behind Auburn basketball, look at this stuff among other collections of data, but this kind of gives you an overall view of Auburn's offensive effort. And looks like they've dropped to the 78th percentile in transition, where they were previously like 96, 97%. But I mean, the quality of competition has gone up. Murray State's good, LSU's good, and it changes things a little bit. But their overall half court has gone up. It's a 56% rank right now, and they were at like 15 or 20%. Early on in the season when they were playing bad teams. For Auburn, it's still kind of a work in progress for the half court, but that number's risen dramatically so far this season, and the transition numbers come down a little bit, but I expect that number to stay steady there or maybe even move up a little bit. When you look down here at the bottom where it says play types, transition, that's a very high percentage for a BP team. BP teams always run transition, but to see that 22%, if give or take, of their scoring opportunities are in transition, that's a high percentage. They are always known for spot-up shooting and pick-and-roll ball handler. Those are the top two almost all the time. And that's why they specifically targeted Zepp and Wen Green, who are two guys that were asked to do a lot of pick-and-roll ball handler stuff when they were at Charleston and Eastern Kentucky, respectively. So they need to get a little bit better at the pick-and-roll ball handler. They're only in the 48th percentile in that particular play type, but those numbers will get better. And then cut is something where in the 2019 team, they did very little of that. And now they do a lot of back cuts because KD is really good at that. Jabari's good at that. Wen is good at seeing those passes. So, yeah, it's interesting. This is definitely a different team as far as the way that it attacks on the scoring end. It's going to be a little bit different than like the pick and roll man. You see 5.8%. That's almost all alley-oops to Walker. That used to be Anthony McLemore would do the P&R roll man. He was really good at that. I also think that Jabari would be good at that if they ever wanted to use him in that way. They used him a little bit like that at the St. Louis game. He's just so good in other ways too. You don't want to get away from him too much. So anyway, that's the Synergy Sports stuff. Some interesting numbers there, and you can see again. Sonny talks about this all the time on the radio. How good Auburn is at out of bounds plays, and you can see there. I think it's in the second gray area here. It says out of bounds end, out of bounds side. And Auburn's 85%, 83% on both of those. So, and that's rated excellent. So, every single BP team is almost always really good in that way. And he looks at that as like a way to kind of add 5, 6, 7 points to every game. It's pretty smart, I think. Anyway, it gives you a look at him. Auburn, this team in general, is a better defensive team than it is a scoring team at this point. That's just the truth. And it's not a problem. BP said on the postgame today, the great teams know how to rebound and play defense every single night. That's how you get to be great. Scoring comes and goes. So he's not fretting over these numbers. He's going to find ways to make them better, but he's not fretting about them. He's more worried about defense and rebounding. And they did both of those a lot tonight. So from that perspective, that was a dub as well as what you saw on the scoreboard. Let's see if we got any last comments here. Spicy Pieces definitely got to get away from ISO ball. It'll come. Yeah, a little bit of that. And Spicy P also notes that Coleman Coliseum's ugly on TV. It is. It's ugly on TV and it's ugly in real life too. It's a far cry from Auburn Arena. So the Tiger says, yeah, absolutely. Auburn's arena is terrific, I think. Some people poop on it, but I think for a smaller arena that holds about 10,000 people, it's beautiful. It's exactly the way that I would have done it, I think. My man, what's my man sending here? What'd you send to me, bro? I don't know what it is. I can't tell right now. I got a text there from Duff Diver. I don't know what it was. All right, we'll probably wrap it up there. A super duper shout out to Mobile alum. Unbelievable tonight. Thanks, girl. So much for your generosity for that. And we will be doing a show down in Mobile here before too long when the weather warms up. I'm just kidding. It was 82 today. We just need to do that at some point here in the spring, I think. Yeah, we definitely got to do that. Thank you so much. And I will let administrative assistant know. Also to Sam, absolutely legend, Sam Howell, and BP Rockman, and really all of our super chatters who are legends. And just folks that are here on the show. Pocket Watch is always here with us. Canoe Man's always here with us. They're also great super chatters, too. I'm not trying to be like that about it. Let's see. Ravine says, I graduated in Auburn Arena. I will always love our arena. That's a great memory. Canoe Man says, wait, no BMAC call. No, not tonight. I've exhausted our time, bro. That's all I'm going to say about that. We try to keep these shows a little bit shorter, Anyway, we will have a show for the South Carolina game on Tuesday, almost a week from today. Well, 6 days from today, when we wish my mom, Carol, a happy birthday. Of course, she's like 46, even though I'm almost 50. But you figure out the numbers there. And, yeah, we'll be doing that. We're also going to do our rundown tomorrow. We've not taped a rundown this week because we had the football game yesterday, and then we had this game today. And I told him, I was like, let's push it to the next day because I want to talk about this game. I had a feeling something good was going to happen. And then we will do the show then. So, Duff Diver says he doesn't know. What does this mean? You don't know what you're doing, bro? You always know what you're doing in Warzone. Oh yeah, he's got DJ on there too. Yeah, you're good, bro. You got Double D's on there too. He's in with the crew. Damn. All right, guys. Seriously, appreciate you guys jumping on this late night show. And a special commendation to Sam and BP Rockman and, of course, Mobile alum for the incredible generosity tonight. I will check you guys on the board, of course, always at auburnsports.com. They're around all the time. And the next time we go live will be Tuesday night for the Auburn's game at South Carolina. Until then, keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars. See ya. Peace, love, adios.